Greetings, Patrick here from Eight Questions With, and welcome to the show. It's a beautiful day here in southeastern Michigan. Uh, it's almost 8 o'clock, but our trash guys are still out there uh, pulling our trash cans from our street. Um, yeah, it's they have a lot to do. Uh, so if any noise you hear from outside, that's what that was. It was a trash truck. Well, welcome to the show. Glad you guys are here today. Uh, hey, Anthony, how are you, sir? Again, happy birthday. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm ready for tonight's show. We have actress and model and author and singer and all-around Renaissance woman. Mel Heflin will be here with us in about 15 minutes or so. And we have so much to talk about. I'm just letting you know now. Generally, we go about 60 to 75 minutes. I have a feeling we'll probably be going over just a little bit over because there's so much to talk about. I've been wanting to talk to Mel for a while. I saw her when she did an interview on the House of Horrors few years back, and I've been watching her since then. I've seen her in some of her films, Return to Splatter Farm, and yeah, I was like, wow, she's really can do every role. She's got a really interesting look because she is a chameleon. She can do horror, of course, she's a screen queen, but she can also dress up like a medieval. She can do noir. Um, yeah, not everybody can do those things. No, not everybody has the body type or the facial type, which is why you see some actors in roles that they're in some roles because that's what they're really good in. Mel can do anything. When you meet her, you'll see what I'm talking about. She can do romantic lead, she can do villainous, um, she can do it all. And so it's really cool because her choices that she makes, because she's very much in demand. Um, hey, Stephen. And well, happy birthday, sir. 32 years old. You're just a youngster. And yes, our guest tonight does sing, Stephen. I don't know what music she sings. I'm not sure, but that's why we're here for. So yeah, she's got a really exotic look about her, and yet yet she comes across as extremely approachable. This is the kind of actor that you will see in a lot of films, and in Mel's case, you have. Um, so that's what we're going to be looking forward to in about 15 minutes or so. So much to talk about. Some of the movies are going to be I can't wait to talk about. I really can't. Probably my number one film that we're going to talk briefly about is Halloween Shark. um, Now I did touch base with her a little while ago about that, and she says that as far as she knows, it's still in pre-production. She actually did some work on it, and so I'm very excited to know that by hopefully maybe by next June, when it's time for Schlocks versus Sharks, Halloween Shark will be ready to go. Uh, so, some of the other movies that Mel has done that I mean, you might have heard of. Of course, she's also in the one movie that I'm really excited about for next year. It's in pre-production. That is My Blade Is Your Salvation. That just looks absolutely insane. The more I think about that, it looks like an American Giallo over here, like a Dario Argento film. So I'm pretty excited about that, to talk to Mel about that. And of course, The Legend of Tinker Hell, which is going to be really cool to talk about as well. Some of the movies that she has done Return of the Corn Zombies. That's for Acrostar. She's done Cheerleader Camp Elimination, that our guest Dylan Fawn Harvey also worked on. As far as our friend Steven from House of Horrors, he was also in that movie. She was the Night of the Dead Sorority Babes, which I saw a treatment to that. I saw a pitch, so I'm not sure if this is the full length film or not, so we'll catch up about that. I saw the pitch for it. It was like a 20-minute, 25-minute short film, but it was just to show potential investors what they had on the table, which is they had a lot because there's a lot of really well-known screen queens in that film, uh, including our girl Morgan Malone is in that, and along with Angel Bradford is also in that. So and I'm just looking at, like I told her, we're looking at her list of movies. I mean, you could go ahead and pick every one. You could go down one by one, and we'd be here for the rest of the week because there's so many fun movies that she has done. So I'm really curious to see how she picks and chooses the roles that she does, because she is in that place now as far as independent horror goes. She can pretty much call her shot. She can decide whether she wants to do a project or not. Um, and so she can relax about that. She doesn't have to take everything that crosses her desk. So we're gonna ask her, what about these movies that appeal to her? All right, so September is here and we're making our way. We're still working. Hey Sarah, how are you? Waffles. All right. Hey, Waffles, you got another Facebook yet? Are you gonna start one out? Hopefully you will. Let me know. Get back to me on that, because if so, let me know when you get it made, and so I can send you a friend request. All right. So we are at it. We are adding guests to the calendar even as I speak. Um, okay. Okay. I'll do it that way. Definitely. Um, so next week's gonna be a little busy for us. That's good. That's good. Next Tuesday, the 9th, we'll have film director and screenwriter Michael Cassie will be coming back, and he will be talking about his brand new film, No Tears in Hell. Uh, if you like, if you like your horror, like dark then dark and then darker still, then you'll want to come in and check this out. I watched the film. It's definitely in my top 5 of the year. It's it's a good movie. It's a good movie, but like I had to say last year, and Michael knows this. I've had to say this. But like last year, when I was telling everybody that was here that would hear from me, I was telling you all about the coffee table, but I was putting a disclaimer on that because I think that movie is, it's not for everybody. Not every movie is for everybody. Same thing with No Tears in Hell. If you watch the miniseries Dahmer, if you watch that movie, you're all right. You're fine. You'll be okay. But if you just like your horror more mainstream, more safe, like a Scream or a Halloween, if you like your horror safe, fine. But if you like your horror darker and grittier and based on real life events, then you'll want to check out No Tears in Hell. And we'll be talking with Michael here next Tuesday about it. Wednesday, we have on the 10th, we have a matinee show. I know, during the middle of the week. That's unheard of for us. We don't get those very often, but we are on the 10th. We're going to be talking with actress Erin Michelle Soto, and she'll be here on Wednesday the 10th at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. sharp. And we'll be talking with her, and she's lovely. She's a really nice lady, and really good actress. And she's actually appeared in a movie that I do know about, and she was in Silencer, which is one of my favorite movies, and it's actually how I actually met Mike Ferguson. I met Mike Ferguson through that and through Death Squad. So that'll be really cool. And that's a good movie too. Silencer, that's a really good action movie. Very underrated. Very underrated. Good movie. So she'll be here on the 10th. And then on the 13th, Saturday at 9 p.m., we will be doing a watch party. I'll be joined by my fellow IFC Midnighter, Mary Wilson, and she and I will be watching The Hole. and that was directed by Joe Dante, and it stars Haley Bennett. I know that's a coincidence. I know I like Haley, and I just happen to be watching one of her movies. That's just coincidence. That's all. So me and Mary will be watching. We'll be watching the whole. This will be mine and Mary's second movie that we watched with her because we also covered Swallow on the ISC Midnight Show. We'll be starting at 9 p.m. for that too on the 13th, 9 p.m. The 17th sees us interviewing actor Ken Holmes. He will be here to talk about his career. He's got a fascinating career. Very cool. He's been appeared in many, many big projects, a lot of TV shows. Yeah, and it's a really interesting career. Like I said, I got a chance to look at his body of work, and I'm impressed. And so we'll be talking with him on the 17th. Um, and then on the 21st, I will have to say this because we are traveling. The Midnight Society is on the road. We are heading over to Horror Miser Monty G's channel. We'll be covering The Witch for A24. That's what the movie Monty picked for us to watch. I think it's a good time to rewatch it. I haven't seen it for a couple of years. The Witch is the movie that broke A24 into the mainstream. Up until then, they had released a lot of movies, but no one really had really watched them. But The Witch came out and broke that. And of course, after The Witch came Hereditary, and you know the rest of that story. So that will be on Monty G's channel. I'll be joined by the Wonder Twins, Mika and Kira, also known as Double Feature Podcast, but we call them the Wonder Twins, and Dale from Dale Movies. So yeah, uh, I think that me and Dale, I just want to throw this out there because if I throw it out there into the world, it'll happen. But he was saying how he'd like Drive by Nicholas Winding Ren. He said it was a really good movie. I personally did not really like that too much, but I did like Faster. And he said, "Well, Faster is good, but it's no Drive." Oh, really? That sounded like a Clash of the Titans. So I'm going to try my best to make that happen, and hopefully we'll get Dale here on the channel for a Clash of the Titans, Drive versus Faster. Seen both movies. Both definitely have their positives to it, but Faster is just that. It's faster. It is. I mean, Drive is sort of like driving a Mercedes, and Faster is driving a Charger. It's they both go fast, but one goes faster. So hopefully we can work on that because I really like to talk about Drive and Faster with Dale. On the 23rd, Tuesday the 23rd, I had my first professional athlete in for 8 Questions with. We'll be talking with pro wrestler Mickey Knuckles, and yeah, I watched some of her work. She is what they call a deathmatch wrestler. If you like wrestling, okay, it's sort of like how No Tears in Hell. Like I just equated No Tears in Hell. Like if you like your safe horror, like Scream and Halloween and Freddy, then that's safe. That's like that. Then you watch WWE. But if you like movies like No Tears in Hell or Malicious or The Coffee Table, then you turn around, then you come and watch Mickey Knuckles wrestle in a death match. Yeah, it is really, really interesting to watch. I watched several of her matches on YouTube. Um, it's insane, absolutely insanity. They literally will break bones to entertain you, and Mickey has had that happen not only once but twice on the same leg. I mentioned before when I was talking about this, like we go see a death match, right? And those fans are passionate, passionate. If you go see a death match, bring a tarp, like a sheer plastic sheet. because you're going to want to put it over yourself, because you will, if you're sitting in the first 2, 3 rows, maybe even 4 rows, you will get blood on you. That will happen. Um, so we're going to be talking with Mickey about her career and her new book coming out. And our guest is here, one very, very busy young lady. So please, thank you for being here. And let's go talk to Mel Heflin. Good evening.
Good evening.
I saw the news right before I went out there. I even left a comment
Oh, yes.
about. So I was just like, wow, that's fate right there. That's telling me that that has to happen. So maybe there'll be another casting change, and replace the tiger with the. I mean, a tiger is cool, but a tiger is just a tiger. I mean, if you've seen one tiger, you pretty much have seen them all, but you don't get to see too many cheetahs. And and,
I,
and,
I,
and
there's Cheetah's not too far from me. That they have a big cat rescue.
uh-huh. So have you
I
gone
don't
over
remember
there?
what it's called or anything. It's been a little while since I've been there.
Oh, okay. Well, there's your mission for the end of the year. Is for you to go to the big cat rescue and um, get a picture of a cheetah.
Yes, I can do that.
That would be cool. That would be cool. So I saw the good news. I saw the good
Yes,
news for the movie. So,
the
director
exotic
Blaze,
zoo of
yes.
terror. Yes.
You know what? That's fun. That works. That works.
Yeah.
That totally works. And they're still able to do the shirt. I think the shirt is really cool. And honestly,
I
people
have the
in the
old version, but I'm okay with it.
right. People will, even without the other part of the title, they know what you're doing with that, so they're gonna come out and check it out. They're gonna go like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, um,
I don't know if you're
yeah.
familiar with Blaze's work, but he is a young and upcoming filmmaker. He's doing very cool things. I'm very excited to work with him in person.
Will this be your first film that you worked with him?
I think technically, yes. There was there is one other project that I'm attached to called Mean Boat, and I believe I'm going to be doing a whole setup. I really love going kind of big with my productions whenever I'm able to film from home, such as Graveyard Stories 3, which I really love doing. I've got the whole backdrop, I've got the colored lightings, and I like to do it a little theatrically, where I'm going to do that with Mean Boat.
Do I notice that a lot of indie projects do that? I know that director Sean C. Phillips. I know he does that a lot of his movies, where he'll have vloggers or newscasters. I mean, people who can't be physically on the set, so they'll get a segment where they're talking about what's going on, or doing a basically they're doing a short film, a little 5-minute short film for the bigger movie, sort of like almost like an anthology in a sense. Um, is that a rising trend now, where we see more and more productions, in order to save money, they will do segments where you produce your own, basically you act and produce and edit your own segment, and then send it into the director.
You see, that's interesting. Um, because I think they came about ever since COVID, because I had only ever done pretty much just audition tapes for, the bigger filmmakers to potentially be flown in for things prior to COVID. And then COVID came about, and I was actually living in Japan at the time, so I assumed my career was over. Little did I know that film from home projects were going to get very, very big very fast. And oh gosh, I was probably doing about one little project a week. Even still, half of which, even though everybody was sitting at home with nothing to do, only about half of those came out, strangely enough. But it's been somewhat of a rising trend for a little while, and that's where it's fickle, because I don't know how much money it saves. I know it saves a production my flight costs and probably feeding me and a place for me to stay. But every now and then, productions will be like, here, you need this wardrobe and you need this backdrop, and here's, a little something extra to get whatever you might need. Um, I don't know, a fog machine, for instance. And I would feel like in some situations it would be cheaper to fly me in and just use their stuff. But I'm totally cool with uh, filming on green screen at home.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see for the right part. Definitely, I mean, it's I mean, though I think that most fans would agree with me that they much rather see you in person acting, acting in the film. I mean, it'll be to see you doing yourself in your room doing a small part. It's like, yes, you're in the movie, but we want to see you. We want to see Mel. Because I was saying before you got on here, I was describing you as a true chameleon.
Oh,
There's
thank
not a
you.
role. There's not a role that I can't see you playing.
Oh,
And I
thank you
can't
so
say
much.
I can't say that about everybody I've ever talked to. There's certain people that just are just going to fit in a certain type of roles. It's not typecasting. It's just like you just can't see them doing those roles, and I don't see people casting them for those roles because they just wouldn't fit. I mean, it's just like, yeah, it wouldn't go. But I was looking at your photos, and I'm just looking at the clothes that you wear, the wardrobe. I mean, you could definitely see you just becoming that character in every role that you do. It's pretty crazy, actually. Um,
Thank
it
you.
really is, because it's like you're looking at that and going like, damn, she could do. I mean, I saw the picture that you put up for the Castle de la Mort, the medieval costume. I'm going like,
Yes.
okay. And then the one from the 30s with the Nor, with all the black and the hair up, and I'm going like, gee, holy
Oh,
cow,
yes.
yes. So I mean, I know that you could do those roles. Like I said, not everybody can. Not I mean, there's certain people can do certain roles really well, but they can't play Nor or they can't play medieval. I mean, they might try, but they're not going to be. It's just not going to. Compared to what you bring to the table, they're not going to be able to, especially on the indie level. They're not going to be able to match that. It's no disrespect to them or their craft, but sometimes you just know, which is
Well,
why
I've had
you
a
have.
long time to work on it.
Yeah, you've been in the business for how long now, Mel?
I think we filmed my first project, I want to say like 2008, my first
So
feature.
yeah, I yeah. So you've been doing this for a long time. You're very well respected. I can tell by the projects that you're in, and by the people. You are. When I was going to ask you is how do you pick and choose? Because
Oh
you're in
my
that
gosh, is
position.
it ever so hard? People are so good to me, and I
Yes.
I just get offered so much, and oh, it hurts having to turn down the amount that I do. But just
I,
not
I think
everything fits me. I feel like not everything does.
really.
Especially when I have there's been quite a few times when I get offered a very similar role within a couple of months of each other. And it's
Mm,
like, especially like I can't tell you how many times I've played a reporter. Like people are really wanting to get me in their film and I appreciate it so much. But I've been a reporter probably 20 times or more. It's a little rough.
yeah. I mean, do you put that out when people? Let's say I'm a casting director, and I reach out to you and I say, Ms. Heflin, we'd like to have you join our project. These are the roles that if you want to, these are the roles that we're looking at to fill. I think at this level you get the respect to pick what you want to play. So I give you the sheet of paper with five roles on it. Do you get to pick? Do you get to pick the roles that you play now? I mean, do you
I
like?
really do. I feel so privileged that I have such wonderful people reaching out to me, and like these are really incredible, well-respected individuals who will be like, "Mel, what's something you've never done? What's something you want to do? I will write this into my next script." And it's exhilarating knowing that I'm going to check all these boxes that I've, got on my bucket list. Each year I get to go through and realize new dreams that I never thought that I would be able to have, 10, 15 years ago. And I know that people are going to help me accomplish these just because I'm so lucky to know such
Well,
amazing individuals.
I don't think it's so much luck as it is just talent and hard work. I mean, you work
Well,
your
I
ass off to
actually
get
read
where
a
you're.
new definition of luck recently where it's hard work meets opportunity.
Yes,
And I used to get a little offended. Like people would say, "Oh, Mel, you're so lucky." And I'd be like, "I've worked hard for
yeah,
this for a
yes.
long time, And reading that definition, I'm not so offended anymore. Like, okay, I have met the opportunities plus the hard work backing it, so it works.
See, I want to say hi to the folks that came into the chat. King
Yes, I
Matthew is here.
see chats
Steve,
going on, but it's so little.
Steven is here saying hello.
Hi,
Uh,
Stephen. Hi, Tyler. Me and
yep.
Tyler are working on Big Boobenstein together and The Lady of Castle Zelemort, which we were just talking about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, especially Bubenstein. Is Bubenstein a graphic novel?
Oh, I wish I had my book with me here. No, it's originally a novel written by Jeff O'Brien. And I actually voiced the novel. I was familiar with Jeff for a long time. And I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, I'm an audiobook narrator. I'd really love to narrate one of your books." And he let me narrate Big Boobenstein. And I'm going through the book, I'm narrating it during my transition back from Japan. And the more I read the story, the more the story, her story was mine. And I was just like blown away. There were certain things in it that they were just beyond uncanny. And it was like some of the coincidences were like really heavy. And I reached out to the writer, Jeff, and I was like, "Jeff, have you been following my life? Have you been stalking me? Because this is a little eerie how similar her story is to mine." And um, we've been looking for a director for a long time, and Tyler happened to be familiar with the book, and we liked his work, and everything sort of just came together like it's meant to be. I'm very excited to film this April.
So, like, are you playing the Ingrid Pitt role?
Ingrid Pitt. I'm not familiar with this term.
Ingrid Pitt was probably probably the best Hammer actress ever. Uh, she did a movie. She did a lot of vampire movies, including
Ah,
one very well known one called the Vampire Lovers.
oh, okay.
Yes, yes, and she was a big Hammer star. Yeah, and yeah, you know, she could have did Bubenstein easily. So you reached out to him and you asked him if you volunteer. No, I didn't. I want to say volunteer, but did you have to audition for that? Do a formal audition for him, so he felt like, okay, this is the person I want reading my book, because audiobooks seem to be getting more and more popular every year.
Good.
And you know why I think they're getting more popular? Because they should have been doing this from the very beginning. They should have treated audiobooks like radio plays.
Yeah.
They
I
should have
play all of
treated
the
them.
characters when I voice books.
I think there should be. I think I see. I like it with, if there's a girl part, I want to hear a girl part. I want to hear a girl read it. If it's a guy part, I want to hear a guy read it. It's like an old time radio program. I
I can
love
go
old.
pretty low.
Huh?
I can go pretty low.
uh, so Boobenstein, that and Tyler saying it's going to get graphic. Uh,
Yes, we have
which
some very
yeah.
fun things planned, and the more we go over the script, the more stuff comes up that's like, "Ooh, we could do this with that." And Tyler's a genius. Like he's diabolical with some of the things we'll be going through, and then he's like, "This is where we add this," and I'm like, "How do you think of these things?" It's amazing.
Yeah, he says, if all if only everyone heard me read the girls' line in Big Boobenstein.
We
Uh,
just did a new script read about it, and it was a lot of fun because every now and then I would play Eyesore, and who's the doctor's assistant, and we would just read back and forth for each other to be able to get a visual in our heads. It was a lot.
Now, now, this is one thing with a lot of actors that are really especially on the circuit, who are very much in demand. I mean, there's some actors in that people are always looking to ask them for their projects, which we discussed is very flattering. But holy crow, how do you line them up in the order that you film them in? I mean, you sit there and you got like on your IMDb, there's 20 projects listed there. And it's like, how do you decide which one to do? Do you go in the order that they asked you, or do you go in the order that they get their financing?
What do you mean? The order
Let's
that it appears on IMDb?
Yeah, I mean, if for you with the projects that you film, do you get in the order of the offer? Let's say Joe Smith offered you a part, says, "Hey, I want to do I want to do Cheetah Stein." Okay, but he doesn't quite have his budget in place yet. I come over and I offer you a role, but I got my financing in order, even though the other guy asked you first. So how do you decide which role do you take? Do you take
Okay,
to the
so there's actually something coming up kind of soon about that. Um, so I choose my projects. I talk with the people, we negotiate, I sign on. Everything's figured out there. And then every now and then, like, I try to keep it down to one a month. Like, I'll be like, what season are you filming? What month are you filming? Like, give me dates. And I won't add anything else for that entire month. Just recently, I booked September next year. And like, I've got that kind of blocked off. And now, if anybody else approaches me and says, hey, I'm filming something, excuse me, fall of next year, I'll be like, unless you're filming after September, I can't, all in good conscience, sign on to this project because I've got something going on in September. If they say, okay, well, we can push the project for a month, or we will work with you on your dates. So it's a supporting role. So I don't see myself being there any more than 6 days. That's 6 days out of what? September's 30, 31. Out of 31 days. I might be able to fit something else in there. And if they're willing to work with me on dates, I just continually bug the filmmakers. I'm like, hey, it's May.
Yeah.
We're filming in September. I have somebody waiting on dates. And then usually they'll pretty quickly get to me on dates.
Yeah, I was always curious about that because it's like, it's like because there's so many projects and coming your way, and it's like, and Sean's saying it goes by most recent or top gross after release. That's hard to do because a lot of
It's like
indie
betting on
projects,
horses. You have
yeah,
no idea what's going to end up working out really well. And there's been times when there's a really big project in front of me and I'm like, you're asking me 2 weeks out. I'm booked for the next 6 months.
right.
And then they're like, well, I really like you. I really want to get you in. Like, okay, I can find a weekend for you, or I can find 3 days
Now
for
is
you.
this
And then
is it proper, Mel? I mean, is it proper? Because to me, it's like, if you really want me that bad, pay me for my time. I mean, isn't that only fair? If I come to you and I really want you, and I'm sitting there saying, "Yeah, I need you for the project," and say, and you sit there and say, "Okay, well, I'm gonna have to push some things back, so you're gonna have to like double my rate," which is only fair because you're coming at me at the very last minute. You're putting me on the spot. So can I
it's
get
that
compensated for that?
it's so interesting. So I've seen this industry change and change and change again, especially now we're in this new era after COVID. The pre-COVID era, I feel like a lot of projects would film over the course of multiple weekends, over the course of potentially multiple seasons, which
Yeah,
these
it's
things
okay.
don't always get made this way. If you do try to make a movie that way, doing multiple filming blocks over the course of multiple months, it just the possibility of it getting finished and coming out, just it starts to drop and gets a little scary there. But a
Yeah.
lot of projects used to do it this way. pre-COVID. And there were so many times when they would just be like, okay, we'll get you for the next filming block. And it's like, okay, well, when's the next filming block?
Yeah. And getting we'll get you for this filming block. Okay, that works for your schedule, but doesn't always necessarily work for mine because I don't
Oh,
know when you. Yeah.
see,
Wow.
the industry is constantly changing, and I guess I have changed in somewhat of an opposite direction, whereas I don't take as many projects as I used to. I used to tour, and I would jump in my car and I would just go up and down the East Coast, and I would go to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I would be there for a few days shooting with friends. Then I'd go to Southern Virginia for a few days, and then I would work my way up to DC and Baltimore, and then Philadelphia, and maybe back down to Baltimore for a second. It used to be crazy, and I would so my schedule was a lot harder to work with,
You don't have
and
to do
I'm
that
home a
now.
lot more. I don't have to do that. Oh my
No,
goodness,
you don't have to do that.
that
No,
was rough on
no.
my body.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but now you're in a position now though where you can call your shots pretty much how you want it. It's no longer necessarily, you have to fit into their schedule. They have to fit in your schedule because that's only right because you've earned that for sure. You
I'm
definitely have
very
earned.
lucky how many people are willing to work with me.
Hmm.
People are really good to me, and I always appreciate it.
Well, I think part of it has to do with the fact that again, you can do any role. I mean, it's like I've talked to plenty of directors and they'll sit there and say, well, we got to replace this person or whatever because they just didn't fit. They look good on tape, but when it came down to actual doing it, this wasn't, um, so now you're known as a screen queen. You've embraced that. I mean, everybody knows Mel Heflin is when you think about Mel Heflin, she's screen queen icon. I mean, she really is. I mean, you you're definitely in the as far as working actresses go on the indie level, you're definitely top 10 for sure. I mean, you really have. I mean, look. I mean, just look at the body of work that you've done, and it seems to getting stronger and stronger. As far as I'm concerned, I see the projects you're doing. It's getting strong. It seems like every role is getting bigger and stronger for you.
I
Um,
appreciate that. Thank you.
how does that feel? I mean, because you've done so many when you first started out, you did a lot of, a lot of quick, 2 or 3, 2, 3 days, maybe a day or two, small roles, supporting roles. But as the years have gone by, it's more and more, become you and your acting has become stronger. When did you realize that you were growing as an actress? Like you're like, I'm getting really good at this. I like where I'm at.
It was probably around the time when I would get really excited that I was finally going to meet, somebody I really looked up to, somebody whose work was really strong, and I'd been seeing them consistently. And I would start hearing from these people this validation of, oh, wow, I really love your work. I've been looking forward to working with you. And it's like, wow, me too. Like, and I considered them top tier. And for them to consider me a peer,
Mm.
um, I think that was around the time that, and I don't think that I actually audition well. I audition really well in person,
Yeah.
but it's really hard for me to be sitting in front of my green screen or black screen, whatever I've got up, or wall or outside, whatever wherever I'm auditioning from, and it's really hard for me to just feel in the moment. And I know that's what acting is, but to have no one with me to read, to be pretending to hear something that somebody's saying, and especially like, I don't know if this is common, but there's been a few lately who've asked me to read, and it's one sentence, and it's like, that's
What?
interesting. Yeah. uh,
I mean, that's
and
what they want you to do for an audition. It's just read one sentence.
one sentence, they wanted me to do one sentence, and I'm like, and
Okay. Okay.
I don't
Have you
know.
ever have you ever done that and not gotten a part?
Yes, yes, actually.
Really?
Out of Oh gosh, I have done self tapes. I've done well over 100 self tapes over the years, and I have gotten less than 5 parts this way.
Yeah, most actors, I could think of Daniel Hill right off the top, said that they want that face to face. They
Yes,
want to
I
look
have
at the
no
person's
connection otherwise.
right. He wants. He says, "I want to meet the person who's going to hire me. This is who I am." Um, I really thought, and so did a lot of people. They really thought that after COVID ended and things got back to normal, that things would get back to normal by doing in-person auditions again. But it seems like that has not happened. A lot of people are still doing the self-taping, self-audition. Does your husband run lines with you though? Because I know a lot of
He
married couples
will,
do that.
but he doesn't have this actor's mindset where
Okay,
he will just read these
right.
lines with me like this. And I'm like, I'm supposed to react to this. I love you. I love you. But I like it takes so much more work for me to be like, yeah, I feel what you're
I,
saying. Like
Man, I have
so
not
much more
heard
work.
that. A one sentence audition. You say one sentence and they decide whether they get a part or not. That's, you know
Right.
what that is?
I knew that they were newer filmmakers, and
Yeah.
it was a little rough. Like they were like putting me through some hoops. I felt like to even get this audition, because were they wanted the multiple things, and then the one sentence thing,
No,
and uh, and
that's
I sent it in, and immediately it was less than 5 minutes. They sent me back. Thank you. We've decided to go with another direction. It's like, why did you have me like this? Has been pulling teeth
that's
over the
so
last week for to get this audition
wow. I'll
done.
be
Like
honest with you.
I should have been auditioning them.
Yeah. I'll say this because I can, but that's incredibly disrespectful. That's incredibly disrespectful. You trying to tell me wow. That's just not right. Boy, I wouldn't even give them a time of day if they turned around and said, one sentence. I'd be sitting there going like,
I'm
you
a
know what?
little salty. I really try to submit it and forget
Yeah,
it, but I'm a little salty that like it
yeah,
wasn't even 5 minutes. You knew that they were just waiting for my email so that they could
yeah.
feel good about themselves
Why
to
why why
reject
did you
me.
waste my fucking time? Why waste
Right.
why waste both our times?
Luckily,
Um,
I do a whole bunch of self tapes in one day.
a good thing that Tyler doesn't do that. I can tell you
No,
that.
Tyler is
Tyler's
good to
not.
me.
Yeah, Tyler.
Tyler does
Tyler.
in-face, in-person meetings with me. He knows
That's
what's up.
right. That's right. Wow. That's insane. Um, so let's talk a little bit about your early start because I know
Okay.
that a lot of people may know of you in today's work, but it always hasn't been like that. Like when you coming up before, you also have modeled. You're also a singer, a writer. You did the audition book. I mean, you have a tremendous toolkit, actors toolkit,
This
tremendous. One
actually
of the
I do like to bring a lot to a production. I have some props here that I've actually made if you'd like to see them.
Yes. Is any
Excellent.
of them from Halloween Shark?
Yes, actually.
Halloween Shark. Yes.
So
Oh, is there gonna be a
I don't think
pentagram
you're
in the
going to see
shark?
much of the inside, but in case there's like,
Okay. I saw the pentagram. Show me the pentagram again. I want to see if you have a ward around it. No, never do. They always never do.
this is
That-
my Demon
That's
Shark
that.
spell book.
Damn, boy, that is cool as hell.
Thank you.
That is, yeah, and all the writing is that from the movie inside? You have all the writing in there. Is that from the story?
Most of those are Japanese symbols. I just needed
Oh,
to
okay.
have something so it looked like it was used in case
You
you
got it.
catch a
Right,
glimpse
right.
of the inside.
Man, I
And
can't.
this was the custom Ouija board that I made to actually, you can see the little sharks in there.
Uh, man, that movie's got to come out yesterday.
And this was auctioned off to a good friend of mine who supports my work on the Indiegogo.
Wow. That's cool. Did he get both? Did he get the planchette and the Ouija board?
No, I change up the spell book for whatever I'm working on.
Okay, man.
And then
Now you and I were talking
this
about.
was made from denture teeth. This is a for an upcoming film that I'm going to be working on that has to do with cannibal nuns. And this is a rosary. It's a proper rosary. It's got the right amount of
Uh-huh.
teeth. So these are teeth of my victims.
Oh, are you playing the evil nun?
Maybe.
Nice.
I've got
Now
that and
those nuns and evil nuns and evil witches. They do have familiars. Might be. Are you gonna have a familiar? You gonna have a cat?
depends on where we film, but I do like to collect kitties.
Oh, yeah, me too. As you can tell with the channel name here, half Cheetah will view. So yeah, we're championing cats here.
Excellent.
Art the Clown is our unofficial mascot here on Eight Questions with. Um, wow, that's fun. Now, the one movie I wanted to talk about, along with Bubenstein and the Lady in Castle de la Mort, there's one movie, and I've already talked a little bit about it, but and I'm really excited for it, and that is My Blade Is Your Salvation. That movie
Excellent.
sounds like yes, that movie sounds like legitimately like hyped. Um,
I'm pretty
it,
hyped
it's
about it. Some of the people
it's
that I get to be working with and some of the scenes, and I've got my wardrobe in the other room, and I'm like, I'm still finding this character, and she's deeper than a lot of the characters. I'm having a really fun time figuring out who Victoria is.
That's good. That's good though, right, Mel? Because you like being challenged. I have a feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I mean. When you pick your projects, it's no longer like, okay, I'm going to play a reporter again. No, you're
No.
not doing it. You're looking at going like, okay, I'm the psychiatrist, or I'm the doctor, or I'm the evil wife, or it's something with some serious. I'm the evil nun. You want to put your teeth into into a
Yes.
role. You want to. So I appreciate that. And Tyler's sitting there
I
saying that you can tell me everything about your projects. They don't have an NDA.
yes.
So now
I did
my blade.
recently sign a few of those though. That and I'm
Oh, good.
they call me the Tom Holland where like you'll see every now and then screen grabs of me being like, let me think about this for a minute. Can I say the thing I want to say?
Well, I help out. I help out. I What I do is I tell people if I don't see it in IMDb, if I don't see the project in IMDb, we won't talk about it.
That's a
So
good
if I see the
practice.
yes, if I see it in the IMDb, like Your Blade Is My Salvation, I can talk. I'll
That
ask
and we're
questions.
live, so that's even worse. So there's no like goof up. So if you see me thinking,
No. So now, are you a big fan of Giallo pictures? Is Argento like, or Fulci or Mario Bava? Are you a big fan of Italian Giallo movies?
you know, I definitely enjoy the ones that I've seen, but I sometimes I struggle with nuance. Like I do read a lot. I probably read around 100 books a year, but this is how dense I am. I have never predicted a killer in a book. Even
Oh
when
my
the signs are like blaringly obvious. Um oh gosh, like there's been a couple of books that I have voiced where I should have read it prior to voicing it, but I'm voicing along as I'm reading, and you have to do the killer's voice on occasion, and then I have to go
goodness.
back and re-record
Right.
based on the voice I used for those characters. The nuance gets lost on me. I appreciate them. I love them. Um, but I'm not very good at guessing.
I think what really gets me about Giallo movies is the fact that they're treated as horror movies. Like you think
Mm,
they're really all they are. They're just mysteries. Maybe a
yeah.
little bit more, maybe a little bit more bloody, but they're just like mysteries over here. Like a Columbo or a Murder She Wrote. Just maybe
Mm,
it's basically a who done it. You know,
yes.
um, and it does always seem to be. There is one rule with mystery, and that is like if you watch a TV mystery show or a movie, and you can pretty much figure out the killer. I'll give you a hint here if you want to major friends with this. All you do is you just look to see who's in the movie or in the TV show. The
Mhm.
biggest name is always going to be the killer.
That makes
The biggest
sense.
name,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
The biggest name, the biggest name is always going to be the killer.
I was never the biggest fan of, oh, it's always the wife, it's always the butler. No, it's not.
no, 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 no. It's always the big. It's always the biggest name.
That
It's
makes
like,
sense.
oh no, my gosh, no way, no way, Kurt Russell's the bad guy. Then, oh my God, Kurt
The
Russell's the bad guy. What? You know. Uh, uh. So
red herring always gets me. I'm so sure it's them.
oh, yeah. When okay, so I'm pretty good at that. Right, I watch a lot of TV shows, and I was always be able to always get the killer. My mom was a big mystery fan too, so we'd be sitting there, we waiting for the usual, for the usual suspect to get arrested. Like. But I gotta tell you, there's you're gonna laugh at this, but this is true. But there's a series of movies that have been coming out where I've been watching them and they have fooled me with the killer. There's
Oh, okay. So you're right along
yeah,
with me then.
and it's happened a little bit more. It's what's really funny is who makes the movies. It's not your usual suspects. It's Hallmark.
Oh.
They do mystery movies, and I swear to God, about I'm wrong about 50% of the time when it comes down to who the killer is. I'm pretty good. I'm sitting there looking at all the clues and everything else, and it's like, yes, it's definitely the mechanic. No, not at all. It's the cops. It's the cop's partner. It's like what? Um, and that's even going. That's even going with the rule of the biggest name. Going like, okay, it's the biggest name. It's the car mechanic, and they'll swerve it. They'll sit there and say, nope, not that one. Not the obvious
Gotcha.
one. Yes, yeah. Now I wanted to ask you, go back because I said about the beginning. What got you into the business first, as far as acting? Because you also were a model and you also were a singer, and a writer. So what of these talents did you pick up first to advance you on your career?
So I started modeling very young. I was 13, and um, I was just so used to being in front of a camera. And I was invited by a model friend of mine to come audition for Scarlet Rain, and I gave that my audition. I gave that audition my all, and uh, you know, it's not unknown that I was homeless at the time, and they gave me a place to sleep and three square meals, and I was like, I am living the dream. uh, I wasn't working at my regular job. I was taking days off to go film, and like it was just this beautiful time with everybody being so supportive in between scenes. And I was watching all the scenes that I wasn't in. I was like, this is amazing. And all these people were very experienced actors. Why are you watching? Like, go relax somewhere. And I'm like, this is exhilarating. What are you talking about? This is like magic seeing everybody work together like this. And it made it really easy to add these things onto my tours whenever I was modeling, and it just rapid fire from there. So I would just go film a little something, and I would actually occasionally um, have a movie shoot, and I would book a modeling tour in surrounding cities around the shoot so that it would offset some of the funds to make it easier to do.
Now, how old were you again when that happened to you when you were homeless?
Oh, I was young, but I was on and off homeless when I was pretty young until I was about 19, 20 years old.
So was it so much your parents just were so adamant against the career? I mean, we talked
That
to
is a
several
very
people.
long, sad story.
Yeah. I know a lot of that's one of the questions I ask because I'm always curious, and there's been parents who who support their kids. There are some that sit there and say, "Are you really sure you want to do this?" But well, if you're going to do this, go get a degree first and have that to fall back on. Um, and some just weren't. They just they were like, not less, like they were dedicated to the craft for a year. If they were still passionate for a year, then a lot of times they would throw their weight behind it. But that's everybody else's individual story. But
My mom was very
but
supportive, but she was not in control.
right. So the modeling was did you have any good stories about modeling? Did people take good care of you, or did you notice
You
that it was
know,
a little bit it was hereditary?
as funny as that is, so I mentioned that my mom was very supportive but not in control. Oh gosh, I would make friends with some of these. I say older women; they were probably my age now, but I would bring them along with me, and I would pay them to sign a parent release because the agency didn't know the difference. I'm showing up with an adult who's signing a paper that says that I have. You can't get away with this in nowadays. Um,
Mhm.
but this was, gosh, this was early 2000s, like late 90s, early 2000s, and these these women, was paying them to drive me to these places and sign off that I'm allowed to do this runway show or whatever, this photo shoot, and I they were very, very tame stuff. I was underage, of course, but
Right.
it was it was exhilarating. I thought I was on top of the world. I felt like I owned the place, being able to get away with some of these things.
Well, you mentioned earlier about Japan. You were living in Japan. Did you do modeling in Japan as well?
Oh gosh, I wish. A good friend of mine owns an agency out that way, Catwalk Enterprises, and I I don't talk to her that much because our daytime is their nighttime, and we didn't hook up until right at the very end of our tour over there. But I did one other photo shoot, and that was in Kyoto, and I had a lot of fun with that. That was such a lovely day, and
Yeah.
I can.
Now, and
I'll
did you
post
pick?
a. Hmm?
I thought- Is that where you picked up your writing too when you were going up and down and doing the modeling? Were you keeping is that when you started writing? Did you keep a journal when you were younger?
I didn't, and I probably should have. I'm kind of glad not everything was on the internet like it used to be. I still have some film negatives from some of my agency stuff from when I was underage. But for so long they told us that the internet is forever, and nobody told me anything about file degradation. These files have compressed over the years and are like yay big these days. And some of the catalogs I worked on, I figured it was going to be around forever, so I didn't really save things like I do now. The files I keep are very different these days.
Right, right.
I still have some, just not nearly what I should.
Is there room now in your career? I mean, do you still model on the side for it? Because I would still think that you still be very much in demand. I mean, and for that. Are you okay? Need a minute?
Yeah, I have allergies.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's perpetual.
Not allergic to cats, right?
I am.
No.
I know. I know. My face will swell. And my cat actually, I have two. The one
Uh-huh.
gets in the shower with me, and I'm like, okay, let's rinse all the allergies off you, honey.
You know, you
Into
know,
the
you know
shower with
they
me.
do that. You know they do that on purpose, right? They app.
They've got
It was
to.
fun. So my wife, was she worked at a department store, and she had there was a couple there, a gay couple, really nice guys, super nice, sweet as hell, and she invited them over for lunch, and the one saying, I'm allergic. I'm allergic. And so it's just, well, our cats, they don't, they're very aloof. So he comes over to our house and sits down on the couch, and our aloof cats will decide to walk over and introduce themselves. So they come up, they rub on him and stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh my god!" I'm going like, I said, hold on, let me allow us to save you. If you ever not want this to happen, what you do is cats know when you're scared. They will see that you avoid them. When you do that, you're sending the message to them that they're dominant, which is why they'll come and invade your space. So what you do is when you walk in the house and you see a cat, you pet him. You go over there, pet him on the head, say, "Hi, how are you?" And he'll never bother you. And like 6 weeks later, my wife comes home and she's got this gift basket. It's from them. And they're going like, "We have used that technique ever since he told us about it, and nobody's cats come up to us after I say hello to it at the door." It's like, I wish I had known this forever ago.
Aw.
Uh, yeah. So you're modeling, and then not necessarily writing a journal per se, not yet, but then you started writing when you got older. Um, now now here you are, you're acting first, and then you're modeling first, then you start acting. Um,
Yes.
what was the first time for you on set? I mean, I know you mentioned, you walked on set, you got a chance to read for a part. What was your? I mean, you were excited to be there, but what was it like? I mean, was everybody helpful all the time, or was that always has that always been for you, Mel? Where people have been supportive of you, or have there been bumps in the road where maybe there's maybe a director's not, you and the director weren't seeing things the same way? How did you handle how did you handle things like that?
Oh gosh. So we're always changing and evolving. And it's just these days I try really hard to go into everything as, if I'm butting heads with somebody, it's because there is a communication issue. Because I come from everything with a place of love
Hmm.
and understanding. And if somebody is coming at me with this vibration and I'm vibrating this way and we're just not getting it, then just there is some sort of miscommunication, and this still happens. It feels like, Mercury's drinking Gatorade and stuff. Um, it's just communication issues. Uh, it's it's really hard to come across. I feel like that's my lesson in life, is to try to figure out how to convey what I need to with other people. I feel like that's the whole lesson of my whole life. And you know, there was this one film that I worked on. It was pre-COVID, because that's how we label things these days. And this filmmaker sends me the script, and this script was lengthy. I remember it being more than 130 pages, and
Gee.
I was not used to that. I don't think I've ever seen a script of that length again. And they had never made a project before, but I'm open to working with everybody, especially when they're willing to take my experience into account. I told them it was very lengthy, and I told them, as I would tell anybody these days, or even, gosh, 10 years ago when I was working on it, I told them, if you do this in a single filming block, it is doable. Otherwise, people are going to fall off. People are going to cut their hair. People are going to dye their hair. I've seen people lose limbs. I've seen people pass away during filming over the course of a year. I've seen things derail projects, and then I've seen people get recast. I've seen leads get recast multiple times. So you're watching the movie, and the lead is changing people multiple times back and forth through the movie. And they come out, though. Those movies come out, and to film over the course of a year, which is what this person was wanting to do, with
Do you
just
have an
filming
escape plan?
weekends. Hmm?
do you have an escape clause in your contract? I mean,
You know, I
is that
really
a
should.
mhm,
That's an
yeah.
idea. That's an idea.
I mean, let's say I mean 3 months. Like unless we're filming and actively filming in 3 months, unless we get this going, you know, maybe 3 months with them with maybe 3 months with their finances in order, maybe 5 months if they have to go through the Indiegogo because you got to give them a chance to raise the money. I mean, I would think that that would be standard for a lot of indie actors to have that escape clause because it
You
takes
know,
so long.
that's really smart too. There was another project that I was working on at one point where, oh gosh, this contract was thick. It was thick. And
Mm,
the filmmaker, when I looked him up, nothing came up. And it turns out he had
mm,
changed his name multiple times. We didn't learn
that's
this until later, of course. So it I was going to make $7,000 according to this contract. And it was with one of my old managers. And he said it was legit. He booked several of his actors on this. And it was really weird, like especially weird because none of us saw a script. None of us saw a complete script at any point. Um, we saw some of the promotion online, and it looked good, but
guy must have worked for Canon Films.
it was so interesting because he would give us a printed page at the top of every day, and he'd be like, "This is what we're filming today." A lot of bad things happen on that shoot, and in the contract, it was you get paid upon completion. I was there for over 3 weeks. I was supposed to be there for like 8 days or something. I was there for over 3 weeks. It was throwing everything else on my schedule off, but I couldn't leave because I'd already sunk in so much time that I
Right.
needed to see it to fruition. And oh gosh, this was this was over 15 years ago. There were pygmy rattlesnakes. There were black moccasins on set. There was a gosh. I wasn't involved in the nude scenes, but the day of the nude scenes, somebody brought their 3 and 4 year old children. So
Oh, gee.
there's kids running in between the nude women on set, and I'm just like, is this real life? Right? Like I wasn't even where they were, but I was just like, really, this is happening? Um, gosh, gosh, I have seen some crazy things. I wish I had an escape clause for that because that one I almost quit after that. I've almost quit a couple of times, but like that one was rough.
Did it ever get made?
He did a pre-sale, and I didn't order it because I was told that I was going to get a copy. But I posted about it, and a couple of my friends at the time, this was a very long time ago, had ordered it. It had a whole website, and supposedly they sold a bunch of copies at a convention, but it never. I have no idea. I have no
Wow.
idea. And the filmmaker has changed his name multiple times since then. Very crazy.
Is he still working then? Do you still?
Uh,
I mean, wow.
I have
Do you
no
see
way
it?
of
Do you
looking
still?
him up.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say does because that's one thing I was gonna touch bases with. It seems like the last man, and this was weird too. It just seems like the last month or so. I mean, I've always admired the indie film scene for staying together. Watching out each other's backs and everything else. But it seems like within the last month, it's a whole different dynamic. There is a
It's
lot of
ever changing.
yes. I'm not for the good. I mean, I seen
It goes back
some.
and forth.
It's really. I'm looking at that and like, man, that's some serious weirdness out there. And do you feel as an independent, working woman actress, do you feel like you're treated fairly on all your sets? I mean, do you still run across, the know-it-all or trouble on set? I mean, that happened to you 17 years ago, but now, or do you find that the directors know that they're dealing with you and they're going to do whatever it takes to make sure you're happy? Or do you still find yourself, on rough sets?
I feel like it's been a while since I've hit a rough set. And I try to come, you never know who anybody is on set, especially because nobody looks like their profile picture. Maybe somebody only has 15, 20 mutual friends. It's all people like, though. So I usually won't add somebody unless they have over 200, unless I recognize them. Um, and I just try to come into it with kindness. Like, everybody is a gear in this indie film machine that we are making. Everybody is just as important as everybody else. The people who make the coffee, to the people who hold the slate, to everybody is equally important. We are all in this for the same reason. We want the same goal. We just want to make a good movie for people to enjoy. That's it.
Especially
And
that coffee person. You're right. That's probably one of the most
so
important things.
important.
Yeah. Uh, so
So
now, obviously,
people
one
will,
question. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
sorry. So people will come to me, and I'm very interested in what they have to say because everybody's coming from different walks of life. And every now and then somebody will really get going, and I'm like, they're talking more and more, and like they're talking themselves up, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, oh wow, you make music, okay, cool, tell me more. And then they're like really like building this whole story. And then you look them up online later, as one does, and you find out that they only got involved in things like a couple weeks ago, and they're just aspiring to do things, and they kind of weren't completely honest with you. And it's like, interesting. I was completely taken for a ride there. It happens quite a bit.
I've seen that too. I know there's this one actor overseas, and he got pitched a song and dance, and he was, and I'm like, who is this? He's like, I'm not sure if I can trust this guy. So, well, tell me his name. Mel, it took me 30 seconds. 30 seconds to find out the
Oh
guy's
no.
full of shit. All you had to do is just look at his IMDb page and you go like, yeah, this guy's full of shit. It's like just
Oh goodness.
it was so obvious. I'm going like, why didn't you look at the IMDb page? Who would have told you it was full of shit. Um, and he got taken for a ride. He came all the way from the UK over here. I mean, he basically came to slave labor for this guy. It was a horrible situation for him. He spent over $10,000 he didn't have for a work visa. All it would have taken was 30 seconds worth of his time to know that. But people they really want to believe, they really want to be a part of it. And I think sometimes they'll put those blinders on, and they won't look for all the red flags. They'll just put the blinders on and just go straight to what they think is right. Um, Sean saying, Tyler saying, and just so everyone knows, seeing Mel with her own table at a convention is one of the coolest things ever. Yes, well, that's because let's touch upon that for a second, because you got to go to GrossFest.
I was so happy to go to GrossFest. Everybody was amazing.
I
I
love
had
those
this like
guys.
steady stream of wonderful fans coming to meet me, telling which movie of mine was their favorite, and I'm just like really enwrapped in everybody's stories, and everybody was, oh gosh, that
That
it
looks
was a
so much
dream.
fun. Tim and Tom Gross are just absolutely amazing.
They're the
Um,
best.
They really are. I was just like, they're keeping the prices affordable for families and fans. They're stressing independent film. Vendors make money. Now, not every
Yes.
vendor can say that can they go to conventions, but
I wish
their
every
vendors,
con was like that one.
yeah, and
Conventions take note.
yeah. And the thing about it was is like when we came back from COVID. I really thought that the first thing the convention should do when they came back from COVID and we opened up again, was lower your damn price. Lower the price. Look, just because you want to get people back in. And they did the opposite. And now when I hear people, during the summer season, during convention season, it used to be like so excited to go to conventions. I'm so excited to go to Horrorhound. I'm so excited to go to Texas Frightmare. Now I hear people saying it's so expensive. I can't go.
Hmm.
It's just, it's like, and the conventions are stone deaf. They're stone
Yep.
cold deaf. They're not reading the room at all. All they know
Mm-mm.
is like, we'll get a bigger celebrity in here and we'll charge more money. And people are instead of walking out with bags of goodies, they might come and maybe get a couple of items, but that's all it. You see people do haul videos. This is what I got at the convention. I got a ticket stub. That's what they got.
I'm completely even pre-COVID, things were starting to go downhill where these conventions were starting to charge more and they were getting these bigger guests. And then whenever you have these bigger guests at the conventions, any of the independent people are not going to make money. I
no,
remember I was having to like be a salesman. The convention was so slow and dead in the artist alley where I used to be. And I'd be like, hey, want to check out some new horror movies? And like I remember people just like, that's not what I'm looking for. Like super rude about it. Like, oh, okay, you don't like independent. You're here to see Adam West, or you're here just to see, um,
Stan
you
Lee.
know, yes, exactly. And it's nothing against those celebrities; they're wonderful. But I will personally avoid doing conventions at doing the same ones where they have bigger guests because it's like you're
Yeah,
going to have people having to pay $200, $300 just to
yes,
get into the convention, and then another $500 just to get a hotel, and then all the gas and the money that they took to get there. And by the time they get an autograph or two from these celebrities, they're $1,000 deep. They're not going
yeah,
to want to spend $25 for a DVD from me.
right, right, absolutely right. Um, Tyler says a best vendor snacks ever at GrossFest.
Oh my
I,
gosh.
I heard the food was really good. I heard the
There
food
were
was
these
really good.
cookies.
Huh?
These cookies. There were these
Uh,
this vendor had these cookies.
uh-huh.
Like that.
Did you contact them and say I'm willing to be a spokesperson?
That's dangerous.
Now, I guess I'm going to ask you the one question because I'm sure you've been asked this too. Um, I don't know your stance. I don't know your stance,
Oh.
so this will be
Oh no,
completely
don't get
honest.
political with me. Just kidding.
No, 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 no. How long was it before the first time that you got asked to do nude scenes as the into
Oh,
acting?
I did that for my first film.
You got they asked you for your first film to do a.
Yeah. I knew what I was signing up for when I auditioned.
Oh, it was okay. They told you
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
okay. So you
They're like,
okay.
you're gonna have to be nude. I'm like, I'm a nude model, whatever. And fine art. I did a lot of fine art. I posed for a lot of colleges.
Art house. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I did not. I didn't know. So that's why I was asking because I was saying,
No worries.
how
I'm
did you handle
extremely comfortable.
what?
Um, they were very professional. It was a very closed set. They took it so seriously, and I'm like, guys, y'all are more serious than I am. And they're like, this is a professional set. I'm like, okay, but like, let's get the show on the road. And they were making sure that because in Scarlet Rain, I hang out of a window. Um, Spoiler alert, 20 years later, the twin grabs me and shoves me out of the window, and my breasts are hanging out of the window. So my butt's inside the window, my breasts are hanging out, and it's like I'm actually hanging out of a window. They made sure like there was nobody watching from below or anything. It was very cool.
Oh, okay, okay. So okay,
I
so
wasn't
you
taking
did.
it that seriously, but they were,
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, whatever. It's a naked body. You wasn't seen one before.
Oh, I didn't know if you had actually done that. If you had actually done that in your career or not. I was just curious because I know. I've been seeing, like I said before, I've been seeing a lot. I get a lot from the actresses. Like a lot of actresses will sit there and they'll comment on Facebook too, and they'll sit there and say, "Listen, if you're gonna ask me to do a news scene, don't wait until after we agree to do it, and then I get on set, and then you come up to me and say, "Oh, by the way."
Now, the only thing I don't like is when I agree to a script and then I'm on set and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna add some more nude scenes," and it's like, I
No, not with
agreed.
me.
We're not gonna like sure if it's like an ad lib, like comedy scene or something, but you're not gonna throw more. That we have to be tactful. And if I agree to X amount of nudity in a script, we're cool. If you're going to be adding more scenes after I show up, it gets a little weird.
Yeah, I think that'd be a red flag, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, now a movie like, and I know I hope I'm not putting you on the spot here, Tyler, but
No
for a
worries,
movie
no
like
worries.
for a movie like Bubenstein, I guess as an actress, going in, whoever actress it is, going in, there's an expectation that you could be asked to do a scene,
You know,
a new thing.
that's funny that you mentioned that because the writer, Tyler, and I agreed that Big Bubenstein, um, there's going to be, it's going to be gratuitous, but there's not going to be gratuitous nudity. Well, maybe a dick, but um, all of the boobs are prosthetic. They're going to look glorious, but they're going to be prosthetics. So that in
Right.
mind, I remember I was choosing sides for one of the characters because me and Tyler were both swamped and we're helping each other out, getting things to move forward. And I remember I was choosing sides for the nurse Myra, and I can actually pull this up because it's right here. Nurse Myra sides. Okay. Adelaide says, "I'm interested in the breast implants. Yes." Nurse Myra says, "Take a look at the doctor's handiwork." And she
Right.
exposed her
So like Total
breasts to
Recall.
show
Right.
to show the girl to show Adelaide this is what the doc. It's pretty common. I mean, probably not from the nurse itself, but just see pictures. And she nurse lowers her outfit and reveals her breasts. I, with the utmost confidence, chose those sides because it's the implication of showing implants. It never occurred to me that any of the people reading these sides would actually think that we would expect somebody to audition nudity. I just because we were so confident in it, like, oh yeah, we're not, we don't need any nudity. We're going to
Right.
use prosthetics. I just assumed everybody knew because toddler brain, I guess. And there were there were a couple of actresses that were pretty offended with us, like, how dare you want to see my boobs? Like, whoa,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's been a couple of sets that I've been on where things such as like, okay, you buy an actress an outfit and you're like, this is going to get covered in blood. It's in the script that she gets covered in blood. The production bought her an outfit so that she doesn't ruin her stuff. And then it comes time to get covered in blood, and the actor says, I really like this outfit. I'm not going to be getting covered in blood today.
Well,
What?
you're not gonna really.
So I guess that was going through my mind more than the boobs are prosthetic. Everyone should know that. I don't know.
I think that's gonna
This
be.
is why
I
I am
think
not in charge of
that
these things.
actually that has sort of like a Total Recall vibe to it. I like it. Where the girl on Mars, and she opened up and she had, obviously, the prosthetic, the three with the one with three boobs.
Yes,
You know what? I dig it. It's implied nudity without the actress having to do the scene nude. I think that's
it's
great.
going to be funny. It's going to be raunchy. It's going to be over the top. It's going to be a lot of fun, even though there's no real boobs.
Um, I like it. I think it'll be. I think it'll be very, very fun. And you got some other great films coming up too, and I
Yes,
definitely want to
let's
talk
talk
to you
about
about
them.
them. Yes. Okay. So first of all, I already know you did the Night of the Dead Sorority Babes. You did that. Now, did that actually get made into a full length film? Because I saw the pitch.
Yeah, it's on Tubi.
Oh, okay. It's okay. I saw the 25-minute film, the pitch film. I saw that, but I didn't know if it ever got got financed and got released.
Oh, I love hearing about people getting covered in blood because like that's what we live for.
Yes. Um, the lady. Now, is this going to be a sort of like the lady in Castle de la Mort? Is this going to be like the Catherine Bathory? The one, the lady who believed that she could only stay young by the blood of virgins.
Are you
Or is
asking me
that?
or Tyler?
I was asking. I guess I could ask either one of you. Is that going to be like the Catherine Bathory story, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm very well aware.
is that going to be a takeoff of that story for the lady in Castle de la Mort? It says he must
I
be
just
covered
know a
in
bit
blood.
about my character. A friend of mine recently adopted me and made it so that I can get to set because prices of things these days. And I'm going to be playing Fabienne Fournier.
Do you get
Very
do you,
excited.
now? I know this sounds going to sound funny, but do you sometimes get to make up your names? And I mean, you
Oh
play the
yeah.
character, but do you like here's your character, here's the script, here's your character. Do you ever get that? Do you ever have the freedom to go up to there and say, "Can I change my name? Not necessarily the character, but can I change the name of my character?"
There's been a few times when I've played Mel's, Melanie's, Melissa's, and I'm like, come on, really? Come on. I've played so many of them though that it's like, okay, let's
Is the
deviate
mail
from
for
real life and give me something.
is the mail for Melissa or is it for Melanie?
It's just Mel. I
Okay,
hate being called anything else
you can call me
unless it's
anything else you
Meldrick.
want.
I hate my full name
Mel.
so much. I actually have a funny story. There was one time I was doing a World War II reenactment, and I was very early to breakfast because you have to jump on these things very early. We were showing up at like 7 a.m. or earlier. So I was having to get breakfast at like 6, 5:30, something early. And I came down and the hotel guy was getting the coffee ready, and I haven't had coffee yet, and I'm getting ready to make it once he finishes with the pots and whatnot. And this fellow comes over and he says, "Well, hello, pretty lady. I could just take you to dinner." I said, "Sir, it is 5:30 a.m." And I'm usually not this rude, but I hadn't had coffee and I was pretty
Right, I
crusty
understand
that
that.
morning. And I'm like, "Sir, it is 5 a.m." He's like, what's a pretty lady like you? What's your pretty lady's name?" And I said, "Mel." And he said, "Mildred." And I said, "Mel." And he said, "Mildred." And I said, "Mel." He said, "Mildred." And I said, "It's Meldrick with a K." And the guy who was setting up the pots of coffee, I don't know where it came from. The guy setting up the pots of coffee was like, "That's a name. I've heard that before." And I was just like, can't make this stuff up. And then one of my friends that I was reenacting with comes down the stairs and comes in to get her coffee. And he goes, "Well, hello, pretty lady. I could just take you to dinner." I'm like, I
Was
thought
he
you were
just
taking me to dinner.
was he in character or was he just a little hyped up on coffee?
Oh, gosh, I don't know where he had gotten the coffee from because
Oh.
I was just setting it up in the morning, but I was just like, like he had probably not been to bed that night. I think he was
Oh,
having a little something extra with his coffee.
yeah, yeah.
But what a day
Tyler
that
says
was. I'll never forget that.
Tyler says it's very Mel Brooks inspired standalone for the 40s. Oh, the lady in the castle. Okay, okay. I thought that was going to be medieval for some reason. Oh, so you're going to do the 40s? Okay.
Yes,
Wow. I bet you have a hell of a wardrobe at your house.
I have multiple closets.
Yeah, yeah.
I have multiple wardrobes and closets.
Is that part of your is it fair to say that's part of your contract? Like when you put in the contract that you're allowed to keep one piece of your wardrobe, as long as obviously it's not yours. Do you have that in your contract? Do you at least you get to take home one thing after every shoot?
So I always try to negotiate for getting DVDs at cost because I do promote the heck out of everything that I'm in. And there are movies that are on my convention tables where the filmmaker died and passed away 10 years ago, and I'm still bringing forth his legacy, and I'm still, able to promote the art we made together. And that's what these people get when they hire me. I'm gonna, make a prop if the script calls for it. I'm really going to dig into developing a character and keeping secrets with this character.
I agree with you. And again, you got to go to the indie films for this, but it's finally taken a hold of people now to where they understand like they have to promote every project that they do. The days of rolling into a set, shooting your role, being there 8 or 9 days, and packing up the car and going to the next one. Those days are over with. When that movie comes out, that movie does get out there. The producers say, "Hey, we're going to be releasing X, Y, Z. We're just letting you know." Okay, what can I do to promote it? What can I do to help move it? The days of doing doing the movie, collecting your paycheck, then moving on to the next one, and not giving the movie you did a second thought. Those days are over.
And I'm
It's
so
so much.
glad for it.
It's too competitive out there now, because there's so many movies, independent movies, that are coming out. They're all competing for basically the same audience, and so they're fighting for it, and it's like, if you just go in there and you just like, okay, I put out a movie, now I'm going to go do something else, your movie's going to die. Your movie's not
Yeah.
going to go anywhere. Your role, no one's going to see you. No, and I'm not just selling a movie. Okay, I got this distribution. Okay, but that's not enough. And I
No.
notice that you do very much promote your projects big.
You've
There's a
got
there's
to. I've never understood over the years. I would see so many people that were my peers and people that I was working with, and they would get cast in films, but they would never post about their stuff. Their Facebook, they wouldn't have posted anything in weeks. And I would know that they'd worked on multiple projects in that time. And it was just so confusing to me how they would keep going. And theater plays
and
and everything.
and the thing is, and again, again, this is what I've seen, and in the 3 years of doing this, it's the women that promote the movies. The
Yeah.
women do more. The women do more to promote the movies than their male counterparts. I see more women out there pushing a project out there
I
than
see
a
a
that.
pretty good mix, but overall, I think it's gotten a lot better, as you say, where
Yeah,
and I'm so glad for it, because this is why we make these movies. We make them for people to enjoy them, and for people to have a laugh or cry or be scared with us. Um, we don't make them to just exist in
yeah,
the nether.
no,
We want our friends and
no,
families to see
yeah.
this.
You definitely want to get out there and and push the project, and like, I've seen some directors, some really good directors. I've seen them out there now. They're pushing it. Joe Leone is one. Michael Cassie's another. That Matt Peters from Graveyard Shark. He's one. Um, but it's
We
when it
just
comes
worked
down
on
to,
Blood Red Beach together, that just came out.
oh, okay. Oh, another a beach movie. I just watched this movie today called The Sand. It came out about 10 years ago. Man, that was
It's a
damn
pirate
good.
slasher.
Pirate slasher. I love pirate movies. Do you ever see Cutthroat Island
I
with
haven't.
with Gina Davis?
I haven't.
That movie rocks so hard. It got such a bad reputation, but that movie is so much fun. And with her and Frank Langella, and Remy Harlan directed it. He's the one that's directing the new Strangers movies, and he
Mhm.
directed it. It almost cost them both their careers, basically.
Oh,
But that movie was fantastic. I was like on the edge of my seat. It was great. Old fashioned pirate entertainment. I personally, honestly, it's on the, to me, it's on the same level as the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just as exciting. It's just as exciting. Um,
nice.
so so a couple of other movies, Tinker Hell. Now,
Yes.
you and I talked a little bit about Tinker Hell. Now, how did you get involved with the project of Tinker Hell? Because and we were talking about earlier about like I didn't know that Tinkerbell fell into the public domain.
Right.
I didn't know
And
that.
it's only the one version of Tinkerbell that is in public domain, so we have to deviate quite a bit from uh, it who must not be named, I guess. Let's
The
not
evil
talk
empire.
about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Just to
Oh,
not draw
oh,
their
oh,
attention.
yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say the mouse in the room. But but you're right. But
I'm
you're
not
right. I
media
did
trained
not.
for this project yet.
I was not aware of that. I knew that Winnie the Pooh and Popeye had been released because I've been seeing a lot of Popeye movies. I've seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey,
Yes, that
and
was good.
and I saw Piglet.
Oh, I
Piglet was
haven't
really
seen it yet.
that was it's a badass movie. I love that movie. To tell you the truth. Um, so I know they're out there. I know they're out there. So how did you get involved with Tinker Hell?
So it's by Acrostar, who is amazing to work with. Oh gosh,
Man,
the same people that did Night of the Dead Sorority Babes. And then moving on to, I just worked with them last year, almost exactly a year ago, like this week, that we did Return of the Corn Zombies, and they're making Perfect Soul right now. And I believe their next project is The Legend of Tinker Hell, which we are
okay.
going to start funding on September 19th. So in just a little over 2 weeks, and you can actually go to it's in my link tree, The Legend of Tinker Hell. I want to say .com. It's in my link tree. It's there.
Okay.
And if you want to put your email address to figure out how to get involved, we are going to need quite the budget because some of these kills, we just did a cast read recently. This is going to be something. And I feel like this is something that people really haven't seen the likes of on an indie film project. And it's the lineup and the kills, and it's quite creative.
You know what? It's really cool to hear you have that enthusiasm. I mean, now we're talking about two movies. Like we're just super psyched on, and getting even more and more. We're starting to get more and more of these independent movies. That you're getting excited for. There's no longer just that. Like I had one guy who was in my group, and I loved the guy to death. Lee Payne. Shout out to Lee Payne. But he was throwing up a different campaign like every day in the group. Somebody else was launching a campaign,
I feel
and
called out.
I had to go to him and say, listen, I love the energy, I love the enthusiasm, but what you're doing is you're going to burn everybody in this group out. You're going to burn them out because all they're seeing is they're being asked to put money into it. People like this is not happening like that. So what you need to do is pick your poison. Try to find the best possible movie. Like the biggest names. That helps. If you want to, if you want to get an Indiegogo, like the Mahal brothers, they did the same thing. The bigger names they put on their projects, the more money they got. They're pulling 40, 50, $60,000 for their Indiegogos, and because they were able to get big names. Now, I'm not saying every project needs that because I don't. I don't believe that. In fact, I think that's an
No,
aberration. But I think that I just don't think that you need to hit everybody over the head with every single project. So what you try to do is
right.
you try to find the one that like Tinker Hell or the lady in Castle de Lamort.
So I do have a lot of crowdfunders going on right now, but people are like, "Oh my God, Mel, why are you posting so many?" It's like, I know not every project that I work on is for everybody. I
right.
know that these projects are very diverse. Not all of them are going to speak to everyone. We've got Sexy Sorority Sisters of Death. That's quite different from Adam and Evie, which is another crowdfunder that is going on right now. The Lady of Castle de la Mort is quite different from Tinker Hell. And that's quite different from Big Boobenstein, and that's different from My Blade Is Your Salvation. So all these films are that I'm attached to right now, including the Exotic Zoo of Terror. Like they're all so vastly different that
Yes.
no matter what people are into, I feel like I'm going to be on their October watch list next year, no matter what that may be.
Yeah, I mean, when those movies come out, I mean, there's a lot of projects that you're doing. Again, definitely people can see the quality of the projects you do. Some you do for fun, right? Return of the Corn Zombies. I'm there
Oh
for
gosh,
that because it's so much fun. I'm not there for an Oscar. I'm there
I
because
can't
it's.
believe that one hasn't been picked up for any laurels or anything. I I don't.
I mean,
Have you seen it yet? It's good.
you know what they need to do? They should have what they should have done. They should have brought back the Sharks in the Corn. Seriously, I wanted them to come back and make another Shark in the Corn because I showed that to my buddy Eric, and he loved the movie so much.
Oh my gosh, Rebecca Reinhart was amazing in that.
Oh, Rebecca's so sweet.
Hmm.
She's great. Did you work? You worked with Steve Rinzinski. I saw that. You played
Um,
Detective Duck for
I have yet
Carousel.
to work with him in person. It's coming. It's gonna be epic. I got to voice Detective Duck, and I got to meet Detective Duck at GrossFest.
Nice. I was glad when I saw that. I'm like, is that meaning what I'm? Is that going to be what I'm thinking it is? Is there going to be another? Because I love Duke. I love Duke. Duke's the shit. The first Carousel is definitely one of my very favorite films. I love that movie so much, and I think the second and the third one, they definitely have their moments. And Eileen is
Yes.
Steve's wife.
Oh, I
She's
love her.
she's so daring. I loved her too. I thought she was so daring and so brave. I thought, man, she's all
Have you
right. She's
seen? Oh gosh, the name keeps failing me. The Christmas, the Christmas slasher that they put out last year.
Meowy Christmas.
Curtains for Christmas.
Curtains for Christmas. I think he did one called Meowy Christmas. I still got to see.
Yes.
He's a cat guy too. Big, big,
Yeah.
big cat. He's a big cat guy. Cat and rats actually. They have pet rats and pet cats, but I think they're big cat guys. Cat people.
They're great people.
Um,
They feel like
th-
family to me. It's just that their energy is so welcoming and good.
okay, so all these projects you're doing, how do you maintain the level of energy from one project to another? Because just
So
like the
that's really
campaigns.
easy. My favorite project is the one I'm working on right now.
That's well, Tyler he'll be stoked to hearing that. He was sitting there going like, "Oh hell yeah!" I'm
When
just
I
looking
go
at
into one of
I'm looking
these,
at
it's
his
my
last
whole life.
I'm looking at his last sentence here. It says it's very Mel Brooks inspired standalone for the 1940s. I've seen that picture of you and dressed in your 40s outfit, and if that's what you're wearing to that movie here in Castle de la Mort, I thought it was medieval, but if it's a 1940s movie
Oh
and you're
yeah, that's
wearing
it. Something entirely different. And
oh
I can tease it now. I recently did a poll. Um, I forgot the other name, but the poll that ended up winning was "Ghosts in the Glass," which is a song lyric from my next song that I just recorded the music video for.
are you gonna be releasing a record?
So I'm hoping to find the energy somewhere in here to do a whole album because I'm inspired to do a vampire jazz album.
Nice. I'm
We'll
so out of
see.
touch with music these days. Even though
Same.
I keep in the background, I'm so out of touch. So like I literally just like 3 weeks ago. This tells you where I'm at. Like 3 weeks ago, I didn't know who the hell Sabrina Carpenter was, and then I
I
heard
don't
I was
know
like,
what she sings, but she's so cute. She's so
I don't
cute with her like glitter. I don't know. I don't pay attention to
I had
anything
no
these
idea.
days. I'm very focused on
Yeah,
my work.
I had no idea who she was, and I'm like, okay. And then because I guess she's got a new record out, and so they were playing. They had the video out there, and so someone asked me, "Did you see the video?" I'm going like, "Of who?" Sabrina Carpenter. I'm going, I don't know who the hell that is.
Oh,
They're like, really? I'm like, no. And then they show me the video. I said, oh, she is cute. I mean, she's like a pixie. She's like a Tinkerbell.
Yeah. She's
Um, so
adorable.
yeah. So let's go back to Tinkerbell. So how did you get involved? Did you were you they just cast you? You didn't have to audition for that. They wanted you to do that movie.
I think they had me in mind going into it.
Yeah, I was gonna. I mean, now, how many? I mean, for every movie that you do, how many times do you have to audition for that? I mean, I'm thinking by now, enough directors know you and the quality of your work that they know that they don't have to go out there and ask you to do
See,
they,
this is what I think. I feel like I have consistently put out a body of work and I've promoted enough of it consistently over the last 15 or so years. Who's counting? Um, that it's easy enough to find what I work on. I know I understand certain projects that are like they're looking for something very specific. They want to see if I hit the notes. I haven't played anything similar to that, and they just want to see if I fit what's in their mind. So I can understand that. But if I have a similar thing in my reel, which always needs an update, or anything like that, I don't understand like why not discuss with me and see if I'm even comfortable with it first. But
right,
I feel like aside from the specifics that I just mentioned, like something specific in mind, wanting to see if I can hit the character nuance, flavors of the character that I am not familiar with playing. Um, it's very interesting to me that somebody will come to me and be like, "Hey, I have you in mind for a part. Um, would you mind auditioning?" And like I say no to quite a bit of it because I do not audition well. Um, it's very cold, very sterile to submit a tape of me doing a monologue, and it's not going to hit the same on set. Now, if I can get like a face to face meeting or something like that where they describe the character a little bit and I discuss with it, um, then I can get more comfortable to go ahead and read and they can direct me. I feel like
right,
that's where I really shine is being directed. I
right,
I can pick up on more things if like gosh, I love working with Bobby Knipe Jr. because he lets me develop my character and do what I need to do. And every now and then he'll be like, "Remember, you were doing this in the previous scene," and it's exactly the right amount of direction that I need for that moment. And I feel like when I'm being directed, though, like I can do a whole different spin in the right direction of what I'm doing rather than going down the same path, which may not be right for a very cold, sterile read because I don't know this character. I don't know her backstory. I am given one page of dialogue and I'm having to create a whole thing in my head uh, based on this person and live in this person's skull for the next minute and a half for this audition that I don't know if they're a vegan or not. I don't know if they've never worn high heels in their life. Like these are all little things that would make a completely different person than how I'm spinning it for the minute and 30 seconds that you're going to see me on a very cold stair. It's
So
hard.
when you audition for a part like that, and you have to get into that character's head for a minute and a half, is it? I mean, I mean, it does it make it easier knowing that you're doing the audition, and then you got like a month before shooting before shooting the film, you got a whole month to come up with the character backstory. What's she all about? Where's she been? Where she's going? Does that help a lot when you have a lot of time between the audition and the filming, or do you feel like you do better? Like I auditioned this week, and 2 weeks from now we're shooting. Do you feel like it's better for you that way, or do you need more time to develop the character to your satisfaction?
So I feel like the more time goes because there was recently a project that I was supposed to film April of last year that I just filmed last month. Um,
Uh,
so I was like so ready, I was so in the zone, I was in this character, and then filming got pushed back. and then I went out of her for so like I was so entirely ready, and then like I forget how, they gave me plenty of notice, but it was still like, oh, I'm gonna have to stew on this a while.
Yeah.
um, I I feel like once I'm prepared, I'm prepared, and my process is probably it might be different than other people's. Actors don't really talk much about their practice with
Process.
each other. Interesting. Um, I've never really thought about this that much. But for me, as soon as I am in the character's wardrobe, I zap into that character. Me building the wardrobe, me building, like their little earring pieces, and that's what makes it easier for me to make stuff. Is it helps me to get into the character's head when I am drilling into the teeth of my victims, or whenever I'm
Con-
piecing
con-
together a spell book. Um,
So is that spell book? What are you gonna do with that after you finish making Halloween Shark?
so this has been multiple spell books in the past.
Oh, okay.
And it sort of just evolves a little bit with each one.
Well, that's so much fun. You bring your own props to the party. That's fun. That's really
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
it,
you were
it helps
saying
me
that
get into character to create things.
I think so too. I don't think I've ever seen a cast member actually actually making their own props. I know Angel Bradford is a FX. She does FX as long as they're acting.
Oh, she's
You
good at
know,
it too. She's good at both.
she's amazing. Angel is amazing. I had her on the show, and one of my very favorite stories was with she's saying how she was doing the makeup, and then one of the actresses dropped out, so they asked her to make her own head. They need to step in, so she made her own head, and prosthetic head of her, and then they killed it. It's like, so you made yourself, and then you watch yourself get killed. It's like, okay, that's one for the books. You don't ever hear something like that. That's a good one. But she's extremely talented too. Very talented
I
young
just
lady.
got to work with her on Bloody Bones, and she is a terrifying Bloody Bones. She was
Is
so
she?
fun to work with on that.
Who are some of the actresses that you enjoy working with? I mean, name some names. Who are some people that, as soon as you know you're working with them, you already know that set's going to be a lot more sunnier, a lot more brighter. Name
Oh
some names
gosh, I
that
have such a long list. I really love working with Angel, of course. Um, oh gosh, Shonda Rawlings is such a gem. I have so much love for her. Um, I love Jessa Flux, of course.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
gosh,
Now,
uh, Penny Aphrodite is a force. Her first movie was Pig Shit. I want to say it was Pig Shit. Yes, her first movie was Pig Shit, and she comes on set, and this is her first film, and she has the entire script memorized, all the actions,
uh,
everybody else's lines, and just like it's nothing. And I'm just like, who does that? I had never seen that in my long career of, I know that I have 116 or something on IMDb, but I've worked on more closely over 150. I've
right.
never seen that. I know plenty of directors who don't know their own scripts like that. It was amazing.
Uh, yeah, okay. I like that question because and people always perceive. I was reading an article in Vanity Fair and
I have a
about
longer list. We'll get back to it.
huh?
I have a longer list, but we'll get back to it.
Um, I read the story in Vanity Fair and it was about Jennifer Aniston, and she came over and they're talking to her and they're talking to some of her friends, and she's very close with Sandra Bullock, and we find out like the producers and the makers from Hollywood, the studios, they were trying to foster competition by making the women not like each other. They were
How
purposely
bizarre.
doing that. They're purposely doing that to make them not like each other. Like, they whisper things in each other's ear, not knowing that the two women, other women had actually connected and that were friends. Um,
How
like
bizarre.
sometimes I hear that, for the sense of competition, they try, like, well, we'll just try to, try to foster that kind of animosity, to, make the pitcher better, or to, like, to basically, I think that a lot of times they do that is to manipulate the pay rate, like, wow, she'll do it for this little, or like,
You, you
they'll
know,
just play head
I've
games.
encountered this before. There's been a couple of times that somebody's reached out for me to audition for something, and I'm pretty chill. I try to get things but I have a full workload. I try to get things when I can, and I have had people come right out of the gate being like, "A lot of people want this role," and I'm like, "Okay, let them have it then. Like, I have enough." I am very fortunate that I know wonderful people that are going to keep me working. I don't
Mhm.
need to beg and fight over people who probably, really need this more than I do if you're going to try to pit me against women. Like, it's not cool. It's not cool. The
No.
90s are over.
Um, so yeah, going back, we're going to talk about Tinkerhell right here, right now.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
it.
Back to it.
So, and then we'll talk exotic, and then I'll let you go. So, Tinkerhell, let's talk. I mean, how did you get involved in the project? Were you always there from the ground floor?
Yes.
Okay. So that's a great idea. Um, so how are you going to get around the um the rat in the house, the rat in the room? How are you going to get
Well,
around that?
luckily, that's not my department.
Okay.
But you know what? I do like to visit the mouse in the house quite often enough. I mean, not a
Uh-huh.
crazy amount. I might go there once a year, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, I'm thinking, uh, of course, I'll talk
So,
about it on set, but would it be too crazy to take Tinkerbell a copy or a poster of Tinkerbell? Do you think she would pose with it? Is that crazy?
your Tinkerbell with the other one, with the
No,
with
with the
the with the.
poster. Would that be crazy?
I don't know
Do
why
you
you
think they would
couldn't
do
do
it?
that. I
I
I
mean,
don't know why.
usually I've seen them blur out. Like there was this woman who had a very sexy rendition tattoo of Ursula on her arm, and whenever they got the photos done with their photo pass or whatever, they blurred it out because it was a mouse tattoo, a mouse style tattoo. How interesting! So I might try to see if that's something I can get away with.
Yeah, I just don't understand that too. I personally, I know, we're talking about earlier about Disney being Sue happy, and to me, I just am, if I'm sitting here and I'm getting my name mentioned, right? I'm getting my name mentioned. I don't understand why they're so upset. I mean, it's like it's free publicity.
I think that they
it brings
think
back
they're
the
at
I.
the very top
Yeah,
and that they
but
can
then
do whatever
again,
they want and they don't need publicity, not like we do.
you know what though? But that's not true. That's not true. Disney has it's been hit in the face a lot the last 3 or 4 years. With every movie that's coming out that hasn't met expectations. The Disney Plus, like people, between that fiasco with Bob Iger and the other chairman. I mean, the fight with DeSantis in Florida. I mean, they've had a rough few years, and traffic is down, as far as the foot traffic's down at the parks. Of tourism this year, just this summer, has just taken a beating. Nobody's coming over to the United States from Europe and from Canada, so Disney's taking a beating. All those people that normally would come over to visit, they're not getting that business. So it's just a rough time for Disney right now. But to me, I think it's really cute in the fact that someone's doing the only thing I could understand them not wanting, and I get that, is probably the more, it's always the case, right? Um, I don't think they would have trouble having Tinkerbell kill somebody, but they probably would have a hard time Tinkerbell loving somebody. They're probably going like, yeah, I could do one, but I can't do both. And and America loves killing, so that's what they would choose. Um, I don't. I would think that Disney would. I would think that they would, because look at all the rest of the studios with the Freddy movies and Jason, especially Jason. A lot of those studios used to be just as sue happy, just as seasoned as this. Not anymore. Now they give them guidelines. They sit there and say, "Listen, this is what you can do. You can go this far." But before they would never, they would even give them the time of day. But now there's a lot of really interesting fan movies coming out from all these different characters. And what it does, it keeps it in the public's eye without the companies, without the studios have to spend any money. They don't have to spend any money on anything because we're doing it for them.
I mean, the good
Shaka,
news is we are using the public domain version of Tinkerbell instead of the Disney version.
right. So that's straight from the book.
Mhm.
From it was it J.M. Barrie that wrote Peter Pan.
I am
I think
looking it
that
up.
was it.
That sounds right.
So now you got that cast and you got your Tinkerbell. So who is your Tinkerbell in this movie? You were telling me about her earlier, but who is she?
Beth McClath.
Yeah. Now she's brand new, right? She's the one that
Oh,
had
she's been
Aqua.
around for a bit. Let me look up her IMDb.
Sean says the best thing in Disney was Tower of Terror. I don't remember that. They always changing their park around. And here's the weird thing too. Ever since they quit selling physical media, I know they have Disney Plus, but the thing is though with them stop selling physical media, the character recognitions for Disney characters is it's a lot lower. People,
I don't know
like
the
you heard.
statistics.
Yeah, the moms, the moms used to sit there and put their kids in front of the TV, put a DVD in, and then go and do whatever they wanted, right? The kids will sit there and they want to watch the same thing over and over and over, or show their copy to their friends or what have you. It isn't like that anymore. I don't think there's quite the name recognition. I mean, not the quite same name recognition. Now, when you talk about Disney, what all you think about is Star Wars and Marvel heroes. You don't think about
Yeah.
anything else. Like I saw someone talk about Bambi 2, and I'm like, I didn't even know they made a sequel to Bambi. I was like, someone
Oh
found it
yeah, this was old, right?
um, Disney Bambi 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never even heard it. I'm not even sure when it came out.
I'm pretty sure I had
But
it as a kid. Oh, 2006. Yeah.
yeah, really not that long ago. No, what other parts are you gonna be doing anything else on Tinker Hell other than act? Are you gonna be producing or do
Oh
you want
no,
to
I'm just acting in it.
is that something you want to do in the future? Would you like to try to direct your own film
So I do dabble just a little bit, but there's just too many moving parts, and I am stretched too thin elsewhere. I wouldn't be able to come out with, gosh, how many projects do I generally produce? Not produce, obviously, but how many projects do I normally act in a year? It's 12 or more. There's no way I would be able to keep the bills paid and keep appearing on the scale that I do if I stressed myself thinner and was crew. Now, when I am cast, I can assist and I will assist with lighting, sound. I do a lot of sound engineering at home. I do a lot of voiceover, obviously. Uh, I can work with camera lead. I can, depending on the camera, I can do second unit. Various little things that I am able to bring my expertise and experience into, but I wouldn't be able to stretch myself thin enough to direct something, maybe co-direct, just because I am very familiar with certain characters and archetypes and certain scripts I feel very akin to, but otherwise I just don't think that I'd be able to pull it off.
Mm. So Beth Metcalf is going to be Tinker Hell. Now,
Yes.
do you have a start date for that yet?
No, no, we need to get a pretty hefty budget to be able to pull off some of the really cool things that are going to be in the script, some of the kills.
Okay. Now, now I haven't asked this question in a long time, but what do you feel as an independent actor? In fact, I actually asked this question to Jeff Kirkendall a long time ago, but I'm going to
I
ask
love
you.
working with Jeff.
Jeff is such a sweet guy. He's a sweetheart. He
We've got
really
something
is.
really cool coming up, but it's not
I
completely
can't.
under wraps, but it's a little under wraps.
I saw the preview for the next movie. Oh, there's my friend Dylan von Harvey. I think you worked with her on Cheerleader Camp
Yes,
Elimination. Yeah, Dylan is awesome.
yes, I love her. she
Me
she
too.
blew
Me
me
too.
away during her moments. She was reading some lines and just the intensity she's got. Wow.
She knows what about foster imaginary home for imaginary friends. I was like,
Yeah.
you're my hero for life. uh, so I should have. Hopefully you're doing well, Dylan. So for a Tinker Hell, I was going to ask you this. Let's say Tinker Hell is like the ideal budget's like $60,000. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's say
Yes.
$60,000.
Okay.
But you do your Indiegogo and you raise up 25,000.
Mhm.
Now, do you think it's smarter to wait till you raise the other $35,000, or do you feel like you could take the 25,000 you raised and make a movie out of it?
It depends on the movie, but I feel like something like this, I feel like
You wait.
it. They would wait, reassess, um, see what factors went on, and then approach it from a different way to crowdfund.
Yeah, yeah. I was
I
thinking about
feel
that
like they'll get it though because you know they consistently put out great work.
Well, two plus the cast. The cast is all experienced, pretty much all experienced. So you guys you know what you're doing. You know there is some name recognition. I mean, you do have a name. It's very well respected. A lot of people, when you mention Mel Heflin, they know exactly. They know what they're getting. People are excited they're excited to see what you're doing. I mean that helps. It adds a lot more money than it wouldn't. So fans are smart that way, and fans recognize the names of the good actors that are
Jason.
let's see let's see I love you too, Mel. I'm good. We are in Indiana, getting ready to head to Shelbyville.
Oh, wonderful.
Um,
Right next to Springfield. Enjoy The
uh,
Simpsons.
Dylan, is it hot in Indiana? it's it's hot in Indiana. Let's see. Jason says, hot dog Heflin. Was there ever a thing on set, be it a character's choice or a storyline or a moment, that you really wish you advocated for? That's a heavy question. I mean,
That is a
yeah,
heavy question.
yeah,
Okay.
but it's the same thing of asking, when you had a bumpy set. Oh, thank you for sparing me, Dylan. So, because that way I can stay serious for this interview. Otherwise, you're gonna have me on the floor laughing my ass off. Um, yeah, that's a good question. That's why I asked you earlier about when you've encountered things that happen on set. Like bumps and bruises like that. And
There's been a lot. Um, there's been a lot more good experiences than bad. So I know that the bad usually ends up coming up because we love drama as humans.
Yeah,
Um,
but you know what though? I think a lot of actors or even directors, you know what, they if they show their colors soon, if they show their colors, like
they do,
how they
they
treat
do.
the cast,
That's
then you know what? Then people look at that and they make a list and go like, I'm not working with that person.
I
I
am
see a
very
lot.
familiar with this cycle because like I can pick them out, and
Mhm.
over the years, because I've been around for a while, they usually last for about 4 years. So they come on, they make a big enough name for themselves that people start to notice them, and then about 4 years later, never hear about them again. That's just the cycle it goes because the troublemakers
Exactly.
get found out.
Yeah, and nobody wants to
Gosh,
work with them.
a character choice or storyline or moment that I wish I would have advocated. Gosh, that is a difficult question. Way to put me on the spot, Jason. Um, I know there has been, and you know, I can't pinpoint a time, but I'm a lot more trusted these days by, especially the directors that I choose to work with these days. But in my early career, I know you know, there was a lot of smaller characters that I would play, obviously, just, enough to get on these sets and rub elbows with people. There was one in particular that now that I'm thinking about it a little more, and I still have great respect for the filmmaker, but it just wasn't what he was wanting. But I was being in character. It was a very, very difficult, very emotional scene, and I'm not going to go into what that was about. But I remember it just for the character's headspace that I was in, she was going catatonic. I was in character, I was in the headspace, she was going catatonic. And just all these things happening around her because that's real life for the character's head that I was in. And the director, who I still very much care about, was like, no, you need to scream and fight harder and harder. But the thing is, it's in human nature, especially in this character's human nature, that you fight for so long and you will continue to fight as long as you know rescue's coming. If you give up, and it was to this point like she was supposed to be giving up but continuing to fight harder, and that was not within the character's headspace that I was in. And gosh, we filmed these scenes for a very long time, and I want to say it was hours of screaming your throat hoarse.
Mhm.
It's hard to keep going.
Yes.
And I was the character, and I was in her head, and it's hard to keep going as a person, as a human, as anyone
Did, did he keep calling
after
cut
giving
on
up.
it? Did he keep on calling cut on the scene and redoing it?
No, it was just kind of continuous. He was just
Wow.
going until he got enough footage of what he was looking for. And uh like I understand that's what he was looking for, but and like I did it, but how much footage do you need?
Right, right. Yeah, I think there's sometimes there, I think sometimes a director will get caught up in his moment, and you have to remember, this is this is your talent in front of you. You can't run it into the ground. There's only a certain limit that you can go. Like someone has said that if you do a scene with an actor, and if you haven't gotten it done by the third scene, by the third take, you're not getting it. You just come back and do it again. But you can't just keep there and do it 167 times.
It's
That's just
funny you
not going to
say
work.
that because there's been multiple sets where it's been like dozens and dozens and dozens of takes, and there's
Yeah,
there's one fellow.
that's where the digital camera. That's one downfall about digital cameras. That happens now, because now you have to worry
Yes.
about that. Yeah, I mean, before you
There's
have to
one
worry about
fellow,
tape.
he that I used to work with, and I still would, of course, where he would film like that. We'd be on like, okay, let's do it one more time, but like this is the 60th time, and you would see the other actors getting frustrated. But these were very theatrical moments where it would just get more clockwork and more silly and more theatrical as it went. Whereas the rest of them would kind of make me frustrated.
Mm. Um, yeah, I could see that. That would be after the scene was all over. Did you guys talk it out? Like, because obviously you said that you still work with the director. You still are consider him a good person. Did you talk to him afterwards, saying, "Hey, going to the future, we should probably, let's not do that quite like we did it before," because that is hard. That is hard, especially when you get into that moment and you're gonna maintain that moment, and like
Yes.
like this, like the actor said, if I can only maintain it for like maybe three takes. After that, I'm shot. You're not gonna get my best after that. You're
Depending
gonna
on
get
how long it is.
right, right.
Um,
You're not gonna get, you got my best, and if you can't get that, we have to come back and do it again because that's all I got. You have to come back to it, and I understand that, and there's no reason why not to come back to it. Um, you know, there's no reason to just keep pounding it. The days of Kubrick are done. It should be done. There should be no, like 20 takes off for any movie on any level. It's either you
it
get it
gets
done by
it gets
you get
rough.
it done by 3 to 5, or you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially with some of the schedules of these indie films. Like some of them are not as many as these days, but some of them they'll plan 20 scenes in a day, and it's like can't you don't have 20 takes, you have two.
right. And then when you do that, then and that's the other thing too. I'm noticing too is like a lot of directors, like I know one director, good guy, really like him a lot, but he shoots for the asylum, and they were talking to him in an interview, and they were going like, "How many days did you get?" Now, asylum used to take 10 to 14 days. I saw that on one of the movies. They did a commentary, and the director was sitting there saying, "I had 10 to 14 days to shoot." Now they're sitting there saying they had 6 days to shoot. I don't understand how anybody could expect anything from anybody when you only have 6 days to shoot. I mean, how can you I don't know. How can you ramp up a character, get ready, to maintain, because you need time to process, to, take a breath, to breathe, like get ready for the next scene. But now this guy has 6 days, so he's running around. He said he's gonna get 2 takes, and they might be shit takes, but that's
I
all
feel
he
like
gets.
6 days is a luxury.
Uh, See, Jason says, let's see, de-rolling practices are super important for really intense scene. Yes, as
I like
someone
rolling
who's learning
practice.
intimacy coordination, make sure you have ways to express the character and decompress. Yeah, I know one actor who used to said that he was a character actor, and he used to go. What he do was he was in character, and after his role was done, he walk inside his trailer, look at the mirror, and just shake his hands like this, shake his hands, just shake his body out, and just like, and then he left the character in the trailer. He walked out. He was fine. So you need that.
That's
As to
it's
what
funny.
you said
The
earlier,
wardrobe comes off, and I feel like the character comes off.
right? Okay. Jason mentions, and to what you said earlier, there are always good. There are always more good than bad out there. Finding your tribe is beautiful. It'll make you comfortable to stretch yourself as an actor with the good ones. Yeah, I've seen some really tight knit sets. People talk about on Facebook. I see them talk about it. When they get act with each other, like they've seen it. A lot of the screen queens, they work with each other on a lot of projects. I mean, you see the same cast on one hand, that's good because it's familiarity. Sometimes it's not so good because familiarity, and you want to get fresh faces in there. But as far as being comfortable goes, it is nice to have the same tribe with you. Um, do you feel like that? Do you think? Let me. Oh gosh, I have so many more questions, but I've kept you so long. But I'm going to make this the last question. Do you feel? Do you feel it makes you better as an actress and for the project? like I know in Tinker Hell, there seem to be a lot of fresh faces that I haven't seen before.
There's a
Um,
lot.
yes. Does that excite you knowing that you're going to be going onto a set with whole fresh faces rather than doing a project with a lot of the familiar faces that you worked with before? I mean, do you feel more challenged working with the new cast, or are you more comfortable with the same old,
Oh,
same
this
old?
is fascinating. Um, these are fascinating thoughts. So, eh, when coming onto a set where you have entirely new people, it's very much I feel like a little baby, a little toddler, and I need to push my limits with each person, especially in front of the camera. And it's there's no comfortability there, which is sometimes a good thing. Um, oh gosh, there's discovering what people's limits are, discovering like it's usually so much harder, especially playing mean. Sometimes you get lucky and you click with somebody if you have to play a bad guy. Like before and after each take of me being a bad guy, if I don't know the person and haven't bonded with them quickly, I apologize like 100 times because that's not who I am as a person. I'm not really going to blow your brains out. I'm not really going to dump pickle juice all over you and then laugh about it like a little bad guy, like I'm so mean. Without there being the intention behind the character. Gosh, it's it's also interesting, especially with children. Working with children is even having one of my own doesn't prepare you for the idea of like, okay, I'm playing your mom. I have to like cuddle with you. We have to look natural because kids, they'll be like, I don't know you, lady. Like, it's if they're not in character, they are not feeling it. They're like, and you have to find the comfortability of the person rather than immediately going fully in character and like cuddling this person while they're just like you have to find how to let them feel loose enough. You have to find the happy medium of like how can I touch you and interact with you and make you look comfortable while also looking like I'm actually your mom without you freaking out. So interesting. um I really love working with new people and meeting with new people. They always bring new things to the table, and you want to get the new names out there that are good to work with, but it's also very scary because you don't know what you're going to get.
Right, right. I could see both sides of the coin for that. You work with someone you're familiar with, cast you're familiar with. I just think sometimes when that happens, I think the familiarity will sometimes make a actor more. They're not. It's like old friends week. There's not the
Yeah.
same sort of drive. There's not the same sort of passion because we've done this before. I've acted with you in 6 movies now. I know all your secrets. You know all mine. It's hard to get up that energy to deliver a strong performance. Um, but when you work as a new cast, it's like totally fresh. You got to go out there, like you said, you got to go out there and it's almost like you have to prove yourself all over again. Because they don't know who you are as far as an actor. They may know your name, but they don't know who you are as an actor. So, uh,
Each
Diane
set
says, I
has
have to go.
always
Hope
felt
everyone
brand
has a
new.
good night. You're awesome, Mel, and you rock,
Oh,
Patrick.
she's such
Thank
a
you,
sweetie.
Silent. She really is. I love her and her husband. They're such a great couple, such a loving couple. They're really fun, and hopefully have a great event, Dylan.
Yeah, have fun.
We'll talk when you get back. She's gonna help me get Todd Sheets on here
Oh,
because
wonderful.
I really want to talk to Todd. All right. I tell you what, on that note, we're going to go ahead and end this. And what we'll do is just have you come back.
I've
I
always
knew
got more to talk about.
I knew this was going to happen. I said before you got here, I said, normally we go 60 to 75 minutes, but I knew we are going to go past that today because you have so much to talk about. And, it's you're one of the most interesting people I've interviewed,
Oh,
and
thank you.
thank you for the opportunity, for
Of
sure. I mean,
course. Thank you for
and
having
I
me
definitely want
on.
to have you come back,
I've got a
especially.
lot of stuff to plug.
Yes, and we'll talk about that, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed for a Halloween shark to get off the ground. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to Tinker Hell, Lady in the Castle de la Mort, and of course, Your Salvation is My Blade. That I have to be honest with you, that one I'm psyched for. I'm psyched because that looks so interesting. That poster that they made for that movie,
I love it.
yeah, I do too. It's one of the best I've seen on any indie project. Any, I saw that. I'm like, that looks so killer. That's in the title of the movie, and chance for you to act in it just makes it, it's going to elevate it. So I'm really happy about that, and hopefully I'll get a distributed deal and I can get a copy so I can watch it. All right. This is our end of our show. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Next week, on the 9th, we have film director Michael Cassie will be here with us. He's the film director of No Tears in Hell. Uh, Definitely one of the best movies of the year. Awesome. Top 5 for me already. On the 10th, we have actress Erin Michelle Soto will be here at 4 o'clock. And of course, you'll see Mel. We're going to bring her back. We'll bring you back sooner than later. Um, to the chat, thank you again. I wouldn't be here without you. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday for Michael Cassie. And Mel, you stay right there for a second. To everybody else, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you for coming and drive home safe. Peace. That spell book is